The secret power within. Very interesting that I'm talking about this topic as the Winter Olympics get underway in Pyeongchang, South Korea. And I was watching a little bit of that earlier this evening. Saw some people experience some dramatic fails in their particular sport. And it's a little disappointing to see people fail that badly, especially on the first night. But over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see some amazing things happen in South Korea. You're going to see people achieve lifelong dreams. You're going to see incredible, spectacular accomplishments from people who learned how to harness the power within. And the power within is actually something they had to harness to even get there, because to even make it to the Olympics, you have to be tremendously better than a lot of other people. What do I mean by the power within, or the secret power within? First of all, why am I calling it the secret power within? Because people have more within themselves than they think they do. They can accomplish things they don't believe they ever can. They can amaze themselves and other people with things that they are able to do. And I'm going to talk a little bit about some of those things right now. I saw a post the other day from a Facebook friend who suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder because he had very abusive parents, and he still has bad dreams about that situation today and seems to have some concerns about being the same way. And one person who responded to him said that these things go in cycles, that it's something that goes on. This abuse is something that goes on generation after generation. It kind of made it sound like people can't help it, that they're just kind of helpless. They're just kind of slaves to their background. And if someone experiences that as a child, then they're going to be an abuser as well. And I say that's nonsense, because my background isn't that good either. I suffered quite a bit of abuse as a child, and I saw things from people who were around me, and I won't say specifically, but when I was growing up, I saw some horrible examples of how to behave and how children and teenagers ought to be treated. And there was nobody in my immediate life that I wanted to grow up to be like, because I despised the way they were toward me. I despised the way I was treated. Well, it's a common belief that abuse begets abuse, and if one person experiences it, they're going to pass it down, and it's just going to go on and on and on. But that hasn't turned out to be the case. Some bad effects that I got from my childhood and my particular upbringing were a very bad temper and a very vindictive nature. I was the kind of person who always had to come out on top, couldn't stand to lose. If I ever lost anything to anybody, I had to get revenge on them. Always had to win in every situation, and had to make sure, that if somebody did me seriously wrong, I got the worst revenge on them that I could possibly get on them. And that was the way I lived for a long time. But you have to understand that there are causes and effects, that the way we are, the things we do, causes things to happen. We can cause good things to happen, or we can cause bad things to happen. And what I realized was this vindictive nature, this extremely bad temper, was destroying relationships. I was destroying, in some cases, and inflicting long-term damage on relationships, and I didn't want it to be that way. Because the effects of that are just horrible. I know a person who didn't learn that lesson. To this very day, she has a very bad temper, an extremely vindictive nature, and she's a very solitary, very lonely person, because nobody will have anything to do with her. You can, with a bad temper and a vindictive nature, absolutely destroy relationships that you don't want to destroy, and you'll pay the price in the long run. Now, I decided that I wasn't going to be that way. I saw that causes have effects. And I knew that my vindictive nature, my bad temper, was wrecking relationships. And I didn't want to run everybody away from me. Yeah, I do like solitude. I do like time alone. A lot of times I am a very private person in many ways, although sometimes I do seek attention. I'd like to be another Simon Cowell in a way. But I do enjoy some solitude, but I don't want to be totally lonely. I don't want to be the kind of person that nobody has anything to do with because they can't control their damn temper or because they're so vindictive. And, I begin to make some changes in my life. And now I am much more accepting of a lot of the things that happen in my life. And you know what? Instead of becoming an abusive personality, I became a person who uses a lot of restraint, who does consider other people's point of view, considers how they feel, and tries to do the right thing by them. And far from becoming an abuser, my reputation is as a person who is very good with children and with young people. And I say there's a formula for that. I say that what little kids need, especially, three things: security, love, and fun. And those things do kind of go together in a bundle. And if you give them that, they're, they can be really happy and you can have a great relationship with them. And I have had wonderful relationships with young children and with teenagers. My godson is now 21 years old. I've known him since he's a baby. We've always been just like that. And, I've just always been very, very good with children. I didn't turn out to be an abuser. I turned out to be a very loving person. A very person who does know how to put the needs of other people ahead of my own sometimes. And it involved understanding cause and effect and determining in my mind and focusing that I wasn't going to be that kind of person. Now, another thing that I changed big time in my life, and the addiction industry doesn't want you to know this, because the addiction industry wants you to think that you are a helpless person who will have a terminal illness for your entire life and you have to adopt some radical lifestyle. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I do drink alcohol. I drink on the weekends and sometimes have a glass of wine with dinner during the week. But you know what? I get up every morning feeling good. I get up every morning ready to have breakfast, ready to get on with the day's events. And I feel pretty good. My health is pretty good as far as I can tell. The checkups are really good. But it wasn't all that way. Always that way. There was a time when I was a very serious abuser. And I didn't get into legal trouble. It never came to that, although there was some close shave. But I was at a place, and it was sustained over a period of time. I'm not going to tell you how long, but it went on for a good while. And I drink 12 beers a day, every day, 7 days a week, and get up with a terrible hangover the next day and be all sluggish and not want to do anything. I started to have bad consequences to my health. I got extremely overweight, 242 pounds at one point. Began to have digestive problems. I began to experience high blood pressure. And I got to a point where I realized, this has got to stop. And it's going to stop. And it's not going to stop by adopting some totally dry lifestyle. It's going to stop by moderation. And I did that, and my life has been a lot better as a result. And I don't have to be some weird teetotaler. I can just be normal. I am pretty normal. I get up even on the weekend by usually 7 o'clock in the morning, ready to go, ready to have breakfast, ready to get on with the events of the day. I used to be a horrible abuser. But I saw too many people die. I heard of too many people dying too young. And I decided that I didn't want that to happen to me. And I saw the bad effects that alcohol abuse was having on my life, that it was having on my health. And I knew that people in my age group and younger died because of that stuff. And I decided, by God, I'm not going to be one of them. I'm going to straighten out my health. And so with focus and determination, I dropped the abuse and turned into a normal, moderate person, and my life is much better as a result. And a lot of that involved understanding cause and effect. Now, physically, how did I do that? The addiction industry doesn't want you to know that, but I did it by stepping down. From 12, it was 11, then the next night 10, then the next night 9, then the next night 8, and I cut it down to where a lot of nights it's 0. And physically, that's how I did. And then I learned how to have fun again, that there's so many ways that you can enjoy life, and I don't want to get into all those, but I started enjoying life in other ways. And I also started to exercise because I knew that I didn't want to die young, so I began 20 minutes of aerobic walking every day. Now, I was concerned when I cut back the drinking that I'd have trouble sleeping at night, but doing it slowly ended up not being much of a problem. And have trouble sleeping at night, I can use melatonin and Benadryl, and that seems to work. And so I'm a moderate alcohol drinker, but I drink a lot of coffee and tea and water during the week, and coffee and tea is loaded with antioxidants. And of course, water benefits you. A lot of water benefits you in a lot of ways, or at least it has me. And so I summoned that will, that determination to become a normal user, as in not an abuser, and I did it. And you know, there are people that tell you that once you get into that you are helpless, that you can't change yourself, that you just have to be an alcoholic for the rest of your life and a teetotaler. Well, I say different, and I say it from personal experience. I conquered that problem, and I did it by becoming a confirmed moderate, and my life and health have improved dramatically. And I did that with understanding cause and effect and focus and determination, and the great majority of you, possibly all of you, would, if you could, do that as well. Don't let people tell you you can't do that, because you can do it. I did it, and it didn't turn into some teetotaling idiot. I did it. Something else I saw a lot of in my life was negative experiences at work. I've worked at a lot of different companies over the years. I've experienced every kind of work hell you can imagine, from bad employers, bad co-workers, bad work environments, unsafe working conditions. I could tell you a lot of stories, a lifetime of stories, and how people are just treated so badly in the workplace. And you know what a lot of people would do would be just to do the easy thing, and if they get in a position of power or authority, take out their revenge on other people. Well, here's what I decided. It might be easy to just do whatever I wanted to do and treat people how I wanted to treat them. It might be the easiest thing to do that, but by God, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to treat people right. I want people to have good experiences with their work. You know, business, it's not just there for the people who own or run the business. A lot of people say it should be mostly for their benefit and nobody else's, but there are people who work there and they depend on that business for their income, and it's how they support the rest of their life. And it shouldn't be a hellish experience every day. And you know, my commitment is to be fair and to treat people justly and to treat people the way that I would want to be treated, and to pay them good amounts of money, and to have a good benefit package, and to make work a positive environment instead of some grueling, hellish environment. And everybody who works with me has a contract that gives them rights and protection. And in my dealings with people, I give the benefit of the doubt, and I treat them with respect. And here's what a lot of business people don't seem to understand. You take care of your people, and they will take care of you. So, you know, I experienced a lot of bad things in the workplace, but I used that focus and determination. I saw cause and effect, decided I wasn't going to be that way, and people who work for me and with me to this day will tell you I'm a pretty good guy to work for. I took the bad and turned it to good. Well, you can take bad things in your life and turn it to good. It requires some understanding of cause and effect. You have to see how your actions and omissions affect other people and how they cause certain outcomes. You have to understand that. I think you have to have a logical mind. I think you also have to have a good Samaritan attitude. But when you put all those things together, you can set yourself to make positive changes in your life and do it successfully if you are determined, if you are focused, if you are committed. There's all kind of things you can do that you never thought you could do. And I've given you 3 big examples right there. There is power within you, and most people never access that power, but you can do it. and you can affect the world around you in a positive way, and you can do things that you never thought you could do, or that other people never thought you could do. So don't ever let people tell you that you are powerless and that you don't have any power to make positive changes in your life and in your little corner of the world, because I'm telling you, you do. You need, as I said, a logical mind. You need, I think, a certain amount of intelligence. You need to understand cause and effect, and then you need to be totally committed and focused and keep your eye on the goal of what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And you can do far more with difficult problems in your life as far as correcting them and turning them to good than you ever thought you could. You just have to want it. You have to want it bad enough to do what it takes to fix those problems in your life. Take it from me, I have experience in this issue. There is a secret power within, and you can access that, and you can use that, and you can accomplish far more than you ever thought you could.